Hi all, how you doing? It's okay, so this was Monday's job, this room. Used this X-board stuff today, really liked it. It's a big sort of roll of cardboard. I've used that sort of stuff before, but not as thick as this. From Tool Station, it was about 35 quid. I was really impressed with it, really just laid down easy, taped together well. So first job was just to take this little bit of coving off, because I had to join the coving, but this one had a gap in it at the end. And this is generally how I take coving down. I usually smash it right through the middle, just separate the top from the bottom really. And then when you do sort of chisel through, you're only taking off one half that's fixed to the bottom, and then obviously same at the top. You're not trying to break two surfaces at a time. I think it always works okay this method. I've always done it. Just smash it through the middle. Just makes life a lot easier than trying to separate the top and bottom in one go. But anyway, this was just a little bit just to come off, because you couldn't see, but just to the left of me there was a gap where a cupboard had sort of run through the middle of it. So I've got to join it, so it wasn't worth trying to fill that bit in. So just best off take the whole length off really. I looked at this job about four weeks ago, and I couldn't exactly remember what they were going to take out or not take out, so I didn't turn up with the coving, which is a bit of a mistake really, because I've plastered the ceiling and the walls, and now I've got to put the coving back on, so there's going to be a bit of a discrepancy in the depth. So I might have to just score out my new plaster and maybe just take it back to what it is now basically, and then it should sit pretty flush to each other. So yeah, just getting the last of this little bit of adhesive off the wall, and then I'll begin a PVA in. Actually, it's a mixture of PVA and SBR in the bucket, I think, and it's got some of the red brick, the mortar dye, not brick dye, it's mortar dye, isn't it? It's got a bit of that in it, which I've been using a lot lately, and I'm really getting used to that. It's really good. It's just a nice deep red colour, almost like a sort of lilac-y colour really, and it just does a good job. Obviously it shows exactly where you've been, and I've had no trouble with bleed through coming back after, once ceilings have been plastered or decorated. No problem with the colour running. So it's working well really. Where am I here? Oh yes, I'm just going around with a brush, and it was quite a funny room, this one. The two outside walls had like a gloss paint on it, and it sat on there all day. It did not want to go off, so I didn't touch the two external walls today, so I'll pick them off tomorrow. The people thought I was going to be in and out in a day doing this. They thought it was only a day's job, but it's definitely 2 days, what it is for me anyway. But they're hoping to get it painted Friday, which I think is a bit ambitious. It's only Monday today. But anyway, it'll be finished tomorrow, and then I've got Wednesday, Thursday, possibly, for, if they want to paint it Friday, they might be able to get a mist coat on it. So here I am, just rolling up with this dyed PVA-SBR combo. Yeah, I really enjoy it. It's just really, obviously you can see exactly where you've been. I don't know if it's as good as old Kirk's Plasterers blend, but it's doing the same job. It's all PVA, it's all SBR. Put plenty of sheets over them pine cabinets. I'm sure they're going to paint them because they're a bit old fashioned, but I just sheeted them up. I think they've got all good clothes in them. So yeah, just finishing off that, rolling that. A couple of chases behind me just to fill out, which was unexpected. Again, didn't know that was going to be there, so it doesn't take a minute anyway. Doesn't take long at all. I found I've got to wear gloves with that PVA, the dyed stuff. You don't want that all over your hands. So here's like an old chimney breast here that someone had attempted to plaster. They've rendered it. It was all over the place. I don't think this camera angle does it justice. I think I put a straight edge on it in a minute, and just it was really diving off everywhere. Yeah, it doesn't really show how bad it was, but I just said to the woman, I'll do what I can with it, but it's never going to be dead flat. And then I've got to just fill in them 2 empty electrical sockets, and I do that by, I think I'll show you in a minute, I think it's in the video. Yeah, what I always do here is I'll just cut 2 bits of plasterboard to size, and what I'll do is I'll fill them up with a bit of gear like this, and then I'll put the plasterboard on top. Because what I don't want is the gear to be trying to dry, because it will just take ages. So fill it up with a load of stuff, then put your plasterboard on top. That way your plasterboard is already dry, so it doesn't matter if it takes a week for that stuff behind it to dry off, but the plasterboard on the face of it is dry. And I usually use the 9.5mm to do this, because it pushes into the sockets and sits against the lugs where the screws go in. If you use a 12.5mm, it will stick out a bit further, unless you bash the lugs in, you know, with a hammer. That's the easiest way out. But if I've got a bit of 9.5mm on the van, I'll just do that. So I'll just face over it with a bit of gear and then put a bit of scrim on it. That way all the depth has been taken out of by the finish that I've put in beforehand, and it's not waiting for it to dry because the plasterboard is on the surface. So you're sort of back to level playing field again then. That's it, tapping it nice and solid. It's a quick way out of that. Don't be tempted to just bond it and leave it, because it would just take ages to dry. So Homer Simpson face. Yeah, quick time lapse of me chucking a bit of skim on. And I'm using my big carbon steel trowel. Not as big as old Plaster Master Smurf. I think he's got a 24-inch carbon steel trowel. I think this might be 18-inch, but I've been watching these videos, and you know, everything he says about that big trowel is right. It's almost like a straight edge on its own. So just chucking it on with a big trowel will get it a lot straighter and a lot flatter, really. I've been sort of guilty of using the plastic stuff quite a lot lately. The speed skims and the Rafina Plasiflexes. I wouldn't say it's laziness, it's just they're easier to use, but they definitely don't do a better job as a big flat trowel. You know, the flexi trowels are great, but you can only really use them last 1 or 2 polishes really. But if you can just manage to use a good solid carbon steel trowel throughout your whole job, you will definitely get a better finish. The plastic is a lot easier on the wrist, and it does flatten things off a lot earlier than the steel, but it definitely doesn't give a flatter finish. So yeah, I've been watching old Smurf with his big 24-incher. I think mine's 18-inch. I've never measured it. Never had no complaints, so I never measured it. So yeah, just filling in a bit of missing plaster there. So that's all on. I think that might be just the first coat. I didn't film too much of it, because actually the people were in. Next door to me was the kitchen, and I didn't want to start talking into the camera in the house. It's the first job I've done for these people. I think they eventually want the whole house done. There was a vent in the fireplace there. I did suggest that I'll just make good to it like this, and then they can get more of a modern plastic sort of hit and miss vent on top. So I said I just cut it neat around there for them. She did look at me a bit vague, the woman. This is what I was talking about with a new cover, so I doubt they'll put one on. So I thought I'd just make it as neat as possible, and then they'll just paint it. I think it's their little boy's bedroom, so I would imagine there'll be some sort of wardrobe up against this wall anyway. But never cover the vent up if it's vented, if you've got a chimney going on outside, because you can get damp forming down there. If damp does want to get in down the chimney, it's going to have no way of air drying it off. If you cover these vents up, it will just sit there, and then you'll start getting damp patches coming through the bottom of your chimney breast then. So as ugly as they are, just leave your vents in. It will definitely help out. Quite a satisfying little job really. I think I did go over it again with a little small trowel and a brush just to neaten it up, but just for the video, just a case of doing that really. So there she is. That's the ceiling all done, all polished. So like I say, the 2 external walls, which are them ones that haven't been done, I've had to put another coat of primer on them because it just wasn't going off. So I've put another one on and I'll leave it overnight. So I've got all them on, all them hits around the top. They're actually wood, them top pelmet bits, but I put the gear on it anyway. I did say to him it should hold. So yeah, so tomorrow is them 2 walls, and then just piecing that bit of coving in really. Yeah, so I've given that another one since, so that'll be a deeper red. And then I'm just going to piece of coving in from there, round there, and then along to there. And that'll be this room done. So that's Monday out of the way. So I'll finish that Tuesday, and then I've got a little patch repair to do Tuesday afternoon. And I've got to go and look at another job. It's crazy busy at the minute. Yeah, there's the gear on again. It's the second coat of stuff all on. And that should dry off lovely overnight. So I can just walk in tomorrow morning, have a mix and chuck it on. Right, thanks for watching everyone. I shall see you hopefully tomorrow. And this floorboard stuff, I highly recommend it. Really tough. Didn't move at all. Really good stuff. Take care.